All right, hey, it's Iannarino, and it's been a very long time since I've done YouTube, but I'm back. I'm going to start producing in this particular format because I like it, number one. And number two, because I think it's a great way to share these ideas without you having to read the blog, even though you should read the blog, even though you should sign up for the daily so you get it, even if you don't read every one of them. You're at least going to see them go by, and you're going to be able to choose which ones make sense for you. But we'll talk about that later on. Right now, what we have to talk about is how salespeople get things exactly backwards. They get the entire sales conversation reversed. And unless you do something about this, then the legacy approach is going to cause you to not get out of a first meeting and into a second meeting. It's going to prevent you from creating new opportunities. And you have to understand what we call the certainty sequence. Okay, so imagine this. You find your client, they are uncertain. And when you show up, you start by talking about your company because you're trying to gain credibility, and you want the client to believe that your company is a good and successful company, and you hope that that gives you the credibility because you're borrowing it from your company. Then you're going to tell some amazing story about your charismatic CEO who everybody loves, and what a visionary. Nobody else could have done this except for Bob or Susan. I don't know which one of them. But either way, you're going to start talking about another noun, and it's a history lesson that nobody wants. And then after that, just to make sure that people believe that you're going to have certainty when it comes to giving them positive outcomes, you show them your trophy case. You show them all these logos like Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Kellogg's, like these big companies, JP Morgan, Chase, Citigroup, whatever they are for you. You hope that this inspires and gives the client the idea that you're going to be able to help them like you help these other large companies, even though some of the people you're talking to don't relate with those large companies at all. And what you're trying to do is give the client certainty of positive outcomes should they buy from you, which is exactly wrong. It's exactly the wrong thing to do. So we have to flip this and go another way. The certainty sequence works like this. You find your client, they're uncertain. This is the AC/DC economy, accelerating constant disruptive change, and that makes it difficult for people to know what to do when there are the record inflation. There's a war in Ukraine. There's strife and divisiveness in the United States. There's all these things going on at all times right outside the client's window. So they're struggling. Like, how do we make sense of all this? What should we do? What you want to do at the beginning of this conversation is explain to the client why this environment is going to require them to change. You're going to talk to them about the forces that are going to impact their business if they're not already impacting their business. And what you want to give them is certainty of negative consequences. I know you want to give them certainty of positive outcomes. That comes later. At the beginning, what we're trying to address is why should the client change at all? And why should they do it now? Those are the most important things to establish at the beginning of the conversation. And if you start with an executive briefing, what you're going to have happen, instead of the client sort of leaning back, trying to get away from you and a long history lesson around your company, they're going to lean in and they're going to say, is this why we're feeling this right now? Is this why we're not getting these results? Are these things that we should change? What are other people doing? And so they're going to lean in and have another conversation. So let's get super clear on the certainty sequence. Your client is uncertain. Give them certainty of negative consequences if they don't change, especially because it's true. Once you do that, they're going to be even more uncertain. So you scared them a little bit. They're concerned now. And so what you're going to do is take that uncertainty and you're going to give them certainty of positive outcomes if they make the necessary changes. And that change might be buying something from you. It also might mean making changes inside their own organization. So the problem with the legacy approach is you're trying to get this in the wrong order. So the positive outcomes at the beginning sounds like a pitch. What you really want to be is a business advisor who can look at the client's challenges getting better results and tell them exactly what they want to do to be able to do that. Okay, so you can find more about this approach in Elite Sales Strategies, how to become one-up and truly consultative. Like, that's the whole game in that book. Check it out. Go to Amazon.com, and I'll see you back here soon.